Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you to today's Sri Caitanya Charitamrita session. Today is July 9th, 2026, and we are in the 514th session of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. We are reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 10, the Lord's return to Jagannātha Purī. And we have to start with text 167. The context is, this chapter is talking about the arrival of various devotees in Jagannath Puri, one after another, to join Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. So in this we were reading about Brahmananda Bhārati's arrival. So when Brahmānanda Bhāratī arrived, Mahaprabhu did not like his wearing deer skin. So we saw how Mahaprabhu, in a very clever way, without saying anything directly to Brahmānanda Bhāratī, he made him realize that Mahaprabhu didn't approve his wearing the deer skin. And Brahmānanda Bhāratī also learned his lesson, and then he decided that he won't wear the deer skin from that day onwards. And Mahaprabhu had one devotee bring the outer sannyas cloth, saffron cloth, and immediately he put it on. And then Mahaprabhu, because Brahmānanda Bhāratī is a senior, is equal to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master on that level. That means his like Keshav Bharati, Brahmānanda Bhāratī. So he's the god brother of his guru. So Guru Tulya. Therefore, when after Brahmānanda Bhāratī wore the saffron cloth, immediately he fell down. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered obeisances at his lotus feet. By bowing down, he offered obeisances to Brahmānanda Bhāratī. Then Brahmānanda Bhāratī said, "My dear Mahaprabhu," that means my dear Sri Krishna Chaitanya, whatever you do is to set example to the world. And then he said that I am afraid that I may do something which is not according to standard, and then once again you will refuse to recognize me or offer obeisances to me. I am fearful now. Then he said, now I see two Brahmans in Jagannath Puri at present. I'm seeing two Brahmans. One is stationary Brahman and the other is moving Brahman. So who is that? Jagannath sitting on the altar, he is the stationary Brahman who doesn't move. And then you, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, are the moving Brahman. And then he said that, and that Brahman on the altar, he is Shyama Varna, whereas you are Gaura Varna. That means Śrī Caitanya, Lord Jagannath is dark complexion, Krishna is dark complexion, and you, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, is Gaura Varna. You are golden complexion. So this is the difference. There are two Brahmans. That's so when Mahaprabhu heard this. So the thing is, Brahmānanda Bhāratī, having taken sannyas from the Shankara Sampradaya, is saying from Advaita philosophy's point of view that both the living entity and Ishvara, the Lord, both their bodies are made of Maya. This is Mayavad philosophy. Mayavad philosophy is why they are called Mayavadis, because they accept everything as Maya. Even Krishna's body they accept as Maya. Only Brahman is true. Everything else is Maya. The forms of the Lord are also Maya. In that sense, because the Lord's body is made of Maya and the living entity's body is also made of Maya, in that sense, both of them are equal. Because both are Brahman. Brahman, which is reflected on Maya, is this form. So Brahman reflected on the modes of passion and ignorance is the conditioned soul, and Brahman reflected on the mode of goodness is the Lord, Ishvara. This is Mayavad philosophy. Whether passion, ignorance or goodness, after all three modes are made of Maya. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity are made of Maya. This is the philosophy of Shariraka Bhasha or Advaita philosophy. So therefore, when Brahmānanda Bhāratī is saying that I see two Brahmans, one is Lord Jagannath and the other is you. What is Brahmānanda Bhāratī's understanding of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu? Is a living entity. And Jagannath is, of course, he is the Lord. He is on the altar. So he is saying, I see two Brahmans. One is Jagannath and one is you. One is not moving, one is moving. One is dark complexion, one is golden complexion. What is he saying? He's equating the Lord and the living entity. Because he's seeing Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu as a living entity, as a sannyasi. And he's saying, you are Brahman, I am seeing two Brahmans. One is Jagannath and the other is you. You understand? Of course, that also means everyone is Brahman. But also, one more point. According to the Advaita philosophy, when one transcends the modes of passion and ignorance, only then he can take sannyas. This is the Gyan Marga. When you succeed in Nishkam Karma Yoga, that means now your avidya is made of ignorance and passion. That avidya, which is covering the living entity, is now replaced by vidya, which is goodness. That means now you have come to the mode of goodness. Now you are made of goodness. So therefore you are what? If you are made of goodness, that means you are Brahman reflected on goodness. So you become Ishvara. That's their definition of Ishvara. Ishvara means Brahman who is reflected on goodness. So by doing Nishkama Karma Yoga, when your avidya is removed and that avidya is replaced by vidya, that means your passion and ignorance are removed and now you are in goodness. So they say, now you have become Narayan. Only when you succeed, if you're leaving home, you have to leave home and take sannyas. But that happens when you get Antahkarna Shuddhi. Otherwise, you're not eligible. Of course. Nowadays, Nowadays means it's been the practice. Who's doing Nishkama Karma Yoga? But as soon as one takes sannyas, they start addressing each other as Narayan. Namo Narayanaya. They address each other. Why? You are a sannyasi. That means sannyasi means antakarna shuddhi is completed. That's when you take sannyas. Supposedly. I mean, that is the system actually. Whether they do it or not is another story. But sannyas is accepted. You can do karma sannyas according to Bhagavad Gita only after you get antakarna shuddhi. Antakarna shuddhi means your passion and ignorance is removed. I'm talking about jnana marga. I'm talking about, even the Mayavadis, they follow jnana marga only. So according to that, you can give up your karma. That means give up your home, give up your work and everything and accept sannyas only when you get antakarna shuddhi. Antakarna shuddhi means passion and ignorance is replaced by goodness. And when you take sannyas, when you're in goodness, that means what? You're Ishvara. Because that is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva for them. Jiva is Brahman reflected on passion and ignorance. Ishvara is Brahman reflected on goodness. That's all. That's their definition. It's not a fact. That's their definition. So then, now by antakarna shuddhi, if your passion and ignorance is removed, you are in goodness, means what? Means you became Ishvara now. Therefore, they call you Narayan. Namo Narayanaya. So they are equating. That means Ishvara, the living entity can also become Ishvara. But that's not the final thing. Even after you become Ishvara, that means even... So now they're saying the living entity has become Ishvara means what? Lord Krishna and this living entity who got antakarna shuddhi, they are on the same level. Both are Narayan, both are Ishwaras. You see the point? Therefore, there is no special position given to the Supreme Lord. Anyone can become Ishvara if he gets antakarna shuddhi. But that Ishvara, realization of that Ishvara is not ultimate. So now when Krishna, original Krishna, he is performing pastimes, lifting Govardhan hill, so on and so forth. Oh, he is Ishvara. That's why he's performing those pastimes. And then what about this person who has now, you are claiming this person to be Ishvara. Why he is not able to do those things? It is his Leela. He falls sick and he gets admitted in a hospital. He becomes old and all that. How Ishvara is becoming old if he is Ishvara? Oh, this is the Leela of Ishvara. That he's getting an accident or he's getting some terminal disease and he's dying. This is the Leela of Ishvara. What hypocrisy. This is a great offense to the Supreme Lord. No devotee will accept this because you're equating the Supreme Lord with the living entity. This is a great offense. What to speak of in the conditioned state, even after you are liberated, even after you go back to the spiritual world, at any point, at no point does the living entity become the Supreme Lord. They are both different material. They are both different substance. They cannot become one. It's another thing when the living entity wants to go and merge into the Supreme Lord. So the Lord gives that facility. Yes, you can do that. That means you lose your identity basically. You don't have your specific identity there. You just go and stay there, inside in the body, you just merge there. Doesn't mean that you have now become the Supreme Lord. No. It's like a green bird going into a green tree and sitting there. Does the green bird become the tree? The bird remains the bird. It just goes there in the green tree and it's camouflaged. Nobody sees that there's a bird there because of both are of the same color. It's like that. So living entities going and merging into Brahman doesn't mean that now he is the Supreme Lord. No, he's not. He's just losing his identity. But the fact is, the Supreme Lord is Supreme Lord. The living entity never becomes the Supreme Lord. Never. So all these stories about the Supreme Lord performing yoga and therefore now he is able to do these wonderful activities. No, he doesn't need to do anything. He has all this in him. He is the Supreme Lord, means he is the controller of all Shaktis. He has Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriyacha. Naturally, Swabhaviki. It's not that he has acquired. He naturally has all these potencies. How a living entity can say that? Am I controlling the sun, the moon, the earth and everything? He says, Yachakshuresha Savita Sakalagrahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasyāgyaya Brahmati Samhrita Kala Chakro. Time, Kala Chakra is moving on the order of the Supreme Lord. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahma is saying this. This is Brahma Samhita. Brahmaji's realizations about the Supreme Lord. After he got darshan of the Lord, he's saying this. So the Supreme Lord is Supreme Lord. Any living entity, even after he is liberated or anything, never becomes the Supreme Lord. The Lord is always the master and the living entity is always the servant. Of course, servitorship is in different relationships. You can serve the Lord as a wife, you can serve the Lord as his lover, you can serve the Lord as his mother, you can serve the Lord as his friend, you can serve the Lord as his servant. In different capacities, you can serve him. But service has to be done. We are servants and he is the Supreme Lord. This is a fact. But Mayavadi philosophy says that, or Mayavad philosophy says that the living entity also becomes the Lord. This is a great, great offense. So now Brahmānanda Bhāratī is saying, I am seeing two Brahmans. One is Jagannāth and the other is you. So he is taking Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu as a sannyasi. And because he is a sannyasi now, Antakarna Shuddhi. So you have become Ishvara. And you are teaching us by your example. So therefore there are two Brahmans. One is Jagannath and the other is the living entity, you, because you are now a great sannyasi. That means others also who become who get Antakarna Shuddhi, when they become sannyasis like you, then they are also Brahmans. So we have many Brahmans, or we have many Brahmans. This point Mahaprabhu is refuting. Mahaprabhu didn't accept this. Why? Mahaprabhu wants to establish there is only one Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not that the living entity and the Supreme Lord are the same. So when Brahmānanda Bhāratī said that I see two Brahmans, one is non-moving Brahman and the other is moving Brahman. One is Jagannath and the other is you. You are Gaura Varna and the Jagannath on the altar is Shyama Varna. You know how Mahaprabhu responded? Mahaprabhu said, yes, yes. Satya, Kohi, you are saying the truth. You are saying the truth. After your arrival in Jagannath Purī, whose arrival? Brahmānanda Bhāratī. After your arrival in Jagannath Purī, now there are two Brahmans in Jagannath Purī. Originally, of course, there's only one Brahman, which is Jagannath. On the altar he is there. So there's only one Brahman, Jagannath. And he is, as you say, okay, he's the deity. As a deity, he is stationary. And he is dark complexion, Shyama Varna. But the other Brahman is you, Brahmananda. Why? Because your name is Brahmananda. Brahmananda means what? The pleasure of Brahman. So you are the other Brahman. Not because you are a living entity and now you have got Antakarna Shuddhi, therefore you are Brahman. No, not according to Advaita philosophy. Rather, it's like a joke. Your name is Brahman. So by your coming now, there are two Brahmans. One is this Brahmānanda Bhāratī, Brahman, and the other is Jagannath, Parabrahman. So by your arrival, now there are two Brahmans. Because your name is Brahman. That's why there are two Brahmans. It's a joke. Not that I am Brahman because I got, no. So Mahaprabhu is refuting the Advaita philosophy by his statement. Although he said it in a funny way, in a joking way, he's actually cutting that Advaita philosophy. He's saying there are two Brahmans after your arrival because your name is Brahman. So Brahman and Of course, the actual Brahman. The actual Parabrahman is Jagannath. And you are the dummy Brahman. Because your name is Brahman, so you are the Brahman. So yeah, we have two Brahmans now. And of course, Brahmananda Bhārati's body was also fair. So he said, you are Gaura Brahman. And Jagannath is Shyama Varna. You are Gaura Varna. So you are Gaura Brahman. In this way, Mahaprabhu jokingly cut the Advaita philosophy presented by Brahmananda Bhāratī. One more point is, this is one way of understanding their dialogue. The other way, there's another way of understanding. The second way is, Brahmananda Bhāratī actually was accepting Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He actually realized that Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is none other than Krishna. Not according to Advaita philosophy. According to Advaita philosophy, anyone who gets Antakarna Shuddhi becomes Ishvara. But not like that. Specifically, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is he is originally Krishna himself, Golok Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. He is Krishna himself who has now descended to this world on a mission. So for the sake of his mission, now that same Jagannath who's on the altar, he's moving around. What is the mission? To spread Krishna Prema through this Sankirtan movement. So to do this Sankirtan movement, then he's traveling everywhere. He's traveling here and there doing Sankirtan, spreading Krishna consciousness. So for the sake of his mission of Sankirtan and giving Krishna Prema, he is moving. It's one person only. It's not that two different people. One person only. The person who is sitting on the altar, now for the sake of his mission, he is going around as Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. So that one person has appeared in two forms. One form is as Jagannath, the other form is as Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Jagannath is not moving. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is moving. Jagannath is dark complexion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden complexion. This is perfect. Perfectly according to Shastra. So we can take this meaning also. Both meanings are there. He may have intended in the form of a, Mayavad sannyasi, the explanation which I gave you earlier. Or as a devotee, because after coming in touch with Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he got this realization. So he's accepting Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself. Even then, Mahaprabhu, in a joking way, cut that. When he's saying, you are Krishna himself, even if it is, so many devotees actually realize that. Pure devotees can realize Krishna. By his symptoms, they know the symptoms of the Supreme Lord. And those who are confidential associates of the Lord cannot hide in front of them. He cannot hide himself from his confidential associates. He can hide from others, but his confidential devotees, they can see him. They can, detect. He cannot hide from them. So he's saying, but so when they call him, you are Krishna, to set example to others, he does not accept it. He does not accept. He says, Vishnu, don't ever call a living entity. That means just see, again, in this also, he's teaching a lesson. This is Mayavad philosophy. To say that the living entity at some point is the same as the Supreme Lord. Sometimes you will hear some very, very famous, I'm saying famous. Famous means popular, who have many, many people going to them, sadhus, who are apparently, they are projecting themselves as a devotee of Krishna. However, from their talks, once in a while you will hear, when you come to the conclusion, in the end, it's all, you are the same person. You are that person in the end. So that's where you have to catch. If you want to know who is a real sadhu, just listen to the person's philosophy However nicely they may glorify, oh Krishna and Radha and this and that, but you will hear this Mayavad philosophy there. What is that? In the end, you are that only. You are that Krishna. And at the same time, now, oh, the servant of Krishna. What is this? I'm a servant of Krishna now, but then in the end, I become him. This is Mayavad philosophy. So don't go by the popularity, how many hundreds and thousands of people are following, and therefore this person is a great person. No. Mayavad philosophy is very dangerous. You may go for the nice stories and they will make you cry by telling you wonderful stories, but then there is the poison of Mayavad philosophy where they say that the living entity is equal to the Supreme. So that poison, that conclusion, it will enter your heart also, and that will not let you do bhakti. Mayavadi bhashya shunile hoi sarvanash. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, anyone who hears Mayavadi commentary, he is doomed. His bhakti is finished. By sarvanash, everything is destroyed. So therefore, Mahaprabhu would not accept this. So even for him, if somebody calls Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu the Supreme Lord, what is wrong there? There's nothing wrong. Still, because he is playing the role of a devotee, he would not accept when people called him the Supreme Lord. Unless in very closed circles, when he's amidst his eternal associates, close circles, close associates, then sometimes he would show. He would actually reveal his position as Krishna. But otherwise, he would never allow anyone to call him the Supreme Lord, even though he is the Supreme Lord. Why? To teach a lesson, because many people later on will follow, people try to imitate Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, keeping his hairstyle and, acting like they're crying for Krishna. That doesn't make you Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the Supreme Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows, right, how people will imitate. Because I have this dress, because I am crying, therefore I am the Supreme Lord. No. So even though he is the Supreme Lord, because he is setting the example of a devotee, he would not allow anyone to call him the Supreme Lord. So therefore, when Brahmānanda Bhāratī, genuinely, if he has realized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and he's saying, I'm seeing two Brahmans, Mahaprabhu just laughed about it and he said that, yes, there are two Brahmans now. One is Jagannātha and the other is Brahmānanda Bhāratī, because his name is Brahman, Brahmananda, Brahmananda. So therefore, one is you and one is him, because your name is Brahman. Therefore, you are one, and then the original one is on the altar, Jagannātha. He didn't accept that he is the Supreme. So this happened. Now Brahmananda Bhāratī is like, this talk is not going anywhere, but it is a fact that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. So he takes it to the scholar, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. He'll take the whole matter to Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. Now you decide who is right. What I said is right or what? Like that. So that's where we are at. Let's go there. Text 100 and we finished text 166. I explained to you. Now we'll go to text 167. So Mahaprabhu refuted Brahmānanda Bhāratī. Refuted means he didn't really refute. Actually, he refuted, but in his words, he seemed to agree with Brahmānanda Bhāratī. He said, yes, you're right. There are two Brahmans. But not Jagannātha and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannātha and Brahmānanda Bhāratī. In this way, there are two Brahmans. So next verse. Bharati kahe Sārvabhauma madhyastha hoya, iṅhāra sane āmāra nyāya, bujha mana diyā. Now Brahmananda Bhāratī is saying, Bharati kahe Sārvabhauma madhyastha hoya, iṅhāra sane āmāra nyāya bujha mana diyā. So now Brahmananda Bhāratī is speaking to Sārvabhauma. He's saying, oh Sārvabhauma, he's talking to Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. Sārvabhauma, madhyastha hoya, by becoming a mediator. Madhyastha hoya, iṅhāra sane āmāra nyāya bujha. Meaning, please, you do justice. Okay? So, because we have a disagreement. Iṅhāra sane means with him. Who's that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Iṅhāra sane āmāra. That means there is a disagreement between me and Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. You, being a mediator, do justice. That means you resolve this disagreement. Madhya. Madhya means with attention. Bharati kahe Sārvabhauma madhyastha hoya iṅhāra sane āmāra nyāya bujha. Right? Please explain. Bujha means now you do justice. You do justice and you explain. Manadya, with attention. Brahmānanda Bhāratī said, my dear Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, please become the mediator in this logical argument between Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and me. Right? You become the mediator. And then you do justice. Vyāpya, vyāpaka, bhāve, jīva, brahme, jāni. Vyāpya, vyāpaka, bhāve, jīva, brahme, jāni. Jīva, vyāpya, brahma, vyāpaka, shastrete, vakhani. So still, Brahmānanda Bhāratī is only speaking. He is saying, vyāpya and vyāpaka. Vyāpya and vyāpaka. You know, vyapak means that which spreads. Vyāpaka. So, all-pervading, just like air. Air is all-pervading. Sky is all-pervading. Vyāpaka, it goes everywhere. It covers everything. Vyāpaka. So, vyāpaka means all-pervading. What is vyāpya? Vyāpya means that which is pervaded. That which is pervaded. That means you are limited. Okay? You are vyāpya and vyāpaka. That which pervades and that which is all pervaded. That means, let's take a pot. So in the pot, the water fills the pot. Okay? Water fills the pot. And wherever you leave the water, it will flow. It will just cover all the place. But the pot, it contains that water. It contains that water. It keeps it limited. And inside, it is filled up by that water. Water covers this pot completely. Isn't it? So pot is vyāpya. Vyāpya means that which is pervaded, that which is filled. Whereas the water is vyāpaka. It spreads. You can take sky also with the same example. There is sky everywhere, and inside the pot also, the sky fills up. The sky fills up the pot inside also. You see? So, vyāpaka and vyāpya. So, the point is that which is localized, right? Localized, that is vyāpya. So, take the example of pot, it is filled with sky. And then vyāpaka means the sky itself, which is all pervading. Pot inside which is filled with sky is vyāpya. The pot is vyāpya because it is filled up. And then the sky itself, which is all pervading, is vyāpaka. Vyāpya, vyāpaka, bhāve, jīva, brahme, jāni. So now this is again Advaita philosophy, or let's just keep reading. Okay. So vyāpya, vyāpaka, bhāve, jīva, brahme, jāni. So what's the difference between jiva and Brahman? Jiva is vyāpya and Brahman is vyāpaka. How? The living, you can take it like this. The living entity's consciousness is limited to this body only. Isn't it? My consciousness about any pains and pleasures, my consciousness is limited to this body. If you pinched my body, immediately I feel it. But if you pinched my neighbor's body, I wouldn't know it. I cannot feel that pain. Why? Because my consciousness is limited to this body. That's why vyāpya. So when I gave you the example of pot and sky, now instead of sky, you use consciousness. Instead of pot, you use your body. So consciousness is spread. My consciousness is spread only through this body. What about Paramatma's consciousness or Brahman's consciousness? Is throughout all bodies. He is conscious of what is happening in my body. He is also conscious of what is happening in your body and everyone else's body. So the difference between Jiva and Brahma is Vyapya, Vyapaka, Bhave, Jiva, Brahme, Jāni. Jiva, Vyapya, Brahma, Vyapaka, Shastrete, Vakhani. This is said in Shastra. This is Shastra's description. Who's saying? Brahmānanda Bhāratī is saying. Brahmānanda Bhāratī continued, the living entity is localized, whereas the Supreme Brahman is all-pervading. That is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. Purport. Brahmānanda Bhāratī drew Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya's attention because he wanted him to judge the argument. He then stated that Brahman, the Supreme Lord, is all-pervading. So Brahman is Vyāpaka. This is confirmed by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 13:3. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetragnyayor jnanam yattaj jnanam matam mama. Kshetragyam cha api mam vidhi. That means Krishna is saying. So Arjuna had asked question about what is kshetra, what is kshetragya. 6 questions at the beginning of 13th chapter. What is kshetra, field? What is kshetragya, knower of the field? What is jnanam? What is jnayam? What is knowledge and what is knowable? And then what is prakriti and what is purusha? These were the 6 questions. So Krishna began answering with kshetra and kshetragya. So kshetra means this body. And then kshetragya means the knower of this body. So who is the knower of the body? The living entity. But then Krishna says, kshetragyam cha api mam vidhi. Know that I am also the knower of this body. So first of all, he said kshetra means the field. And then kshetragya means the knower of the field. Then he is saying, but know that I am also the knower of this field. I am also api. I am also means what? There are 2 knowers. This is crucial because here we are talking about Mayavad philosophy. So know that I am also the knower of this field. Kshetragyam cha api mam. I am also kshetragya vidhi. You should know. But what is the difference between me and the other knower? Sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am the knower of not just one kshetra. I am the knower of all kshetras. So whatever Brahmānanda Bhāratī is saying about vyāpya and vyāpaka, that means the living entity's consciousness is limited to this body. He is the knower of just his body, whereas Brahman or the Parabrahman, he is Paramatma, he is the knower of all bodies. So vyāpya, vyāpaka. This is said in Shastras, he said. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, yes, it is said in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature is expanded everywhere. Yes, not just in all living, all hearts. He's there in every atom. In fact, any vastu, any object in this world has any quality is because of the presence of Paramatma. For example, water. The water molecules have that quality of water because Paramatma is present. Otherwise, they won't flow. They will not have the quality of water. Earth has Earth's quality because he's the one who's holding up everything. He's the one who's both externally and internally. Externally, from outside, as Karanodakshaya Vishnu, he's glancing. By his glance, this Kala Shakti is coming. And because of this Kala Shakti, things are, moving forward. Things are moving. Creation has happened and maintenance is also being done because his eyes are open and from his eyes, this Kala Shakti is continuously coming. And by the influence of time, the modes are being, transformed. Things are being transformed by the influence of the modes. And as soon as he closes his eyes, that means this Shakti stops. everything collapses. He is the one who's holding it up, externally and internally. So externally as Karanodakshaya Vishnu, he's glancing. And also externally as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he's holding up each universe. The whole universe is coming from his navel and he's holding it up there. And not just as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, internally also. Now, on a universal level, he enters as Antaryami, Paramatma, inside that Virata Purusha, who is Paramatma. That is also Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, externally, he is laying down. And then from his navel sprouts this lotus. This lotus stem is Virata Rupa. And then Brahmaji on top. But standing up, that how the lotus is standing up, again, he is there as Antaryami, as Paramatma. Inside that Virata Purusha also, the Antaryami is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu on the universal level. Then on individual level, that same Lord, his expanded form as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, he enters each and every atom. So you have atoms, atoms of solid, atoms of liquid, atoms of gas. How these atoms have that quality of gas, how the atoms have the quality of liquid, how they have the quality of solid, or even different fragrances. Why lily flower has that particular fragrance, why rose has this fragrance, and why lotus has that fragrance. Who is giving that quality to each and every individual? Paramatma. When Paramatma enters, then that particular object is able to manifest its quality. He's there at the grassroots level, at atomic level, he's there. Paramatma. So without Paramatma, there is no creation. At every level, he is there. Externally, internally. And as soon as Paramatma leaves, what happens? It's like, when the soul leaves, what happens to the body? It will just fall down. Like that, this whole creation is like finished, collapses. And the soul leaves means, when will the soul leave? So again, the soul is also same way. Like if Paramatma is not there, the soul is also not able to do anything. At every soul is completely dependent on Paramatma. For me to feel what's going on in my finger, where am I situated? I'm situated in the heart, isn't it? Where am I situated? The living entity in the heart. And my finger is so far away from the heart. But if there's a pinprick in my finger, I'm feeling, sitting in the heart, I'm able to feel that. How I'm able to feel that? I'm not there. Who is carrying the consciousness from that finger to my heart? Paramatma. Why? Because Paramatma is present everywhere. He's present in the tip of my finger. He's present in the heart. He's present everywhere. Paramatma. He's there in every atom, isn't it? So his consciousness is everywhere because he's all-pervading. He's present everywhere. As Paramatma, he's present in every atom. So it is Paramatma who is helping me be conscious of this body. And he is the one who is limiting that your consciousness is only up to, this is the limit of your consciousness until your body, not beyond that. Because he will carry the consciousness up to this body only. Beyond that, he won't carry. He has everything, but your consciousness is limited to this body. He's the one who is drawing that line. So for the living entity also, whatever the wonderful things the living entity is doing at this is consciousness, his intelligence, his mind, everything, according to his karma, of course. How the Lord decides this person should have this much intelligence, the other person should have so much intelligence based on karma. So there is no partiality here. Samoham sarvabhuteshu, nametveshyosti na priyaha. I'm equal to everyone. As Paramatma, he's equal to everyone. According to karma, he will decide. But he is deciding who will get how much based on their karma. And he's doing that also. So we are all completely dependent on Paramatma. His consciousness is all pervading. That is the point. He is vyāpaka and we are vyāpya. We are limited. Consciousness, we have consciousness, but that is limited to this body. But Paramatma's consciousness is not limited because he is present everywhere. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature is expanded everywhere. The Brahma Samhita says, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. By virtue of his all-pervasive nature, the Supreme Lord is within the universe as well as within all elements of the universe. So within the universe is there as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Within all elements is there as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. He is even within the atom. In this way, the Supreme Lord Govinda is all-pervasive. On the other hand, the living entities are very, very small. It is said that the living entity is 1/10,000th of the tip of a hair. Therefore, the living entity is localized. Living entities rest on the Brahman effulgence, the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see, whatever there is in this whole material creation, material universe, and everything that you see in the material universe, as well as all the spiritual planets, what are they made of? It's all the Lord's energy. It's all the Lord's energy. So it's all, you can say, it's all Brahman, made of Brahman, because Brahman is also the effulgence coming from the Lord. It's the Lord's energy, made from the Lord's energy, like that. So, but there are different types of energies, yes. This material world is the external energy, and the spiritual world is the internal energy. And external and internal energy, actually the origin is the same. It's the same energy, but when it is separated from Krishna, then it is known as external energy. And when it is not separated from Krishna, it is within, internal to Krishna, it's called internal energy. And when it is separated, then it has a different nature. It acts differently. When it is internal, it acts differently. And then there is a marginal energy, which is the living entities, who can be controlled either by the external energy or internal energy. So the living entities in this material world are under the control of external energy. But when you get the association of a sadhu, a devotee, then the devotee can turn you towards the internal energy. You can come under the control of the internal energy, the Swarupa Shakti, Bhakti Shakti, like that. So the marginal energy's position is, it is always under the control either of external or internal energy. So we are all resting on Brahman, because everything is all, whether spiritual world or material world, everything is expanding from Brahman only. However, the material world is made of the external energy. Why external energy? Because it is the separated energy of Krishna. I think that much is good for this verse. I think we'll stop here today. Thank you all so much for joining. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta ki jai. Panchapataravyascha kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo ki jai. I will try to do it at this time daily. Let us see how it goes, but this is my plan. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.